Hello everybody, it's MAGMA. I'm here with a year in review for the year 2016. So today we're taking a look at every single set or every single Lego Star Wars themed set that was released in 2016. I want to start off with all the little polybags, so then we get into the more interesting sets. First up is the 30277 First Order Star Destroyer. These polybags are just really small basic Lego builds, so there's nothing to really go into. There also was the 30278 Pose X-Wing Starfighter, the 30279 Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle, the 30602 First Order Stormtrooper. I'm not sure what was special about this guy, but apparently he was somewhat different, and he was a collectible polybag minifigure. And then we have the 30605 Finn, or FN2187. So he was released in the Lego Star Wars video game, so you could only get him as a freebie in that game. So that's how you got him. And quickly, I want to make a quick mention of the 75098 Assault on Hoth, which is apparently an Ultimate Collector series. So I mean, it's not, but that's what it's branded as. So those go for another Lego video. I'm also going to make a quick mention of the Microfighters and the buildable figures, because those aren't very interesting. There's not too much to say about them. But then there's the 75113 Rey, 75114 First Order Stormtrooper, 75115 Poe Dameron, 75116 Finn, 75117 Kylo Ren, 75118 Captain Phasma, which is one of the better looking buildable figures, 75119 Sergeant Jyn Erso, 75120 K2SO, which he is one of the much better looking buildable figures. One of the ones I wanted to get at the time, but obviously I didn't, because $24 or $25 for that is a bit expensive. There's also the 75121 Imperial Death Trooper. And regarding the Microfighters, we have the 75125 Resistance X-Wing Fighter, the 75126 First Order Snowspeeder, 75127 The Ghost. We also have the 75128 TIE Advanced Prototype, the 75129 Wookiee Gunship, which obviously didn't sell too well, and the 75130 AT-DP. So that's that for the buildable Microfighters. As always, cute builds and fun minifigures. Not much more to say. Usually overpriced. And then we have the battle packs. So we had the 75131 Resistance Trooper battle pack. I actually didn't get this battle pack. I got a lot of battle packs, but I didn't get this one. The speeder looks like a fun build. It looks like it's got to be a bit of fun. Not much more to say about that. It's a battle pack build, but it's one of the more decent ones. And I've never been a huge fan of the Resistance Troopers, so I only have like a couple of them, not too many. If I wanted to build an army, this would be the perfect set, and it's definitely a perfect set for people who like the Resistance, but since I'm really not a big fan, there was no point of just accumulating more minifigures. But I know it's definitely a nice battle pack, and a lot of people enjoy it. We also have the First Order Battle Pack, 75132. Comes with one First Order Stormtrooper, one Heavy Duty Stormtrooper, and then a Commander and a Technician. So honestly, you're getting a fair amount of minifigures that you do see quite a bit in the First Order. But what most people obviously wanted was just the First Order Stormtrooper, and so obviously that got a lot of people to buy multiple of these. I do like the little cannon build. Again, it's one of the more decent builds. Then we have the Battlefront battle packs, which those are amazing. They're actually among my favorite battle packs of all time, especially the 75133 Rebel Alliance battle pack. The speeder is amazing, by far one of the best Star Wars battle pack builds I've ever had. And then the minifigure selection is also incredible, because you get 4 soldiers, and they're each unique in a different way. You get two that are non-human, and then you get two humans, which is it's great. Definitely 10 out of 10 for that battle pack. And then we have the 75134 Galactic Empire battle pack. Once again, two stormtroopers with jetpacks. Those are great. One technician, less interesting, but still nonetheless a decent minifigure. And then we have the Shock Trooper, which is by far one of my favorites, stormtrooper by far. So great to have this guy in here. The build, it's decent. You get good parts. Not crazy about the build, but you do get decent parts. Moving on to some of the smaller sets, we have the 75135 Obi-Wan's Jedi Interceptor. So this is a very long-awaited set, because in 2014 we got Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, and that was a rebuild on the original 2005 model. So this one is also a rebuild on the original 2005 model, which was even harder to get. And it's pretty identical to Anakin's Interceptor. It's just recolored in red, and you got some cool stickers and whatnot. So nothing incredible, but it is a nice Interceptor. Then we have the 75136 Droid Escape Pod. You get R2 and C-3PO plus 2 Jawas, so a nice set to get some Jawas. And then the escape pod is decent. It's a very good escape pod. It's just not the most desirable or coolest Lego build, but it is a nice build if you have the UCS Sandcrawler, because it is somewhat proportionate, so you could have a decent display, which is what I had. Then we have the 75137 Carbon Freezing Chamber. This is an amazing set. It's really just a small display set. It's not you're not going to have like tons of fun with that, but it's a very nice display piece for people who are just fans of The Empire Strikes Back. And you do get Boba Fett, Han Solo, and an Ugnaught, which was never seen in Lego before. So great stuff. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's the perfect size, and you know, it's better than just having it all cramped into one set like they did for the original Cloud City. It's nice to have this as like a little separate build. Then we have the 75138 Hoth Attack. By far extremely overpriced for what it is. It's really just a turret, a little bit of snow, a probe droid, and then some minifigures. So it's not the most desirable build. No, it is nice to get to accompany other builds, but on its own it's really overpriced, highly overpriced. Next up is the 75139 Battle on Takodana. This is a set that I really don't like. You only get two First Order Stormtroopers, Kylo Ren and Maz Kanata, as well as Finn. So you do get some nice minifigures, but the build is really small and it's pretty useless. I mean, I would have liked to get obviously a whole set for the entire castle, which would have been really cool. But this is really just a tiny portion of the castle, which is priced at $60 US. So honestly, it was really expensive for what it is, and on top of that, it's really not at all a desirable set. On top of the fact that I'm really not a huge fan of The Force Awakens, so most of these sets really don't appeal to me. Then we have the 75140 Resistance Troop Transport. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of The Force Awakens, but this one is somewhat of an exception. The minifigure selection is okay. I mean, you have Admiral Akbar, Princess Leia, and 2 Resistance Troopers, which nothing incredible, but the build itself, the model of the vehicle, and the build, it's a very solid and well-built ship. On top of that, it looks very reminiscent to what to a B-wing. It's like if a B-wing became a transport. So as myself a huge fan of the original vehicle, I do definitely like this set, and it's a very logical set to have. Like, it's a very it's equivalent to what the Resistance has for a gunship, and you know, it's a troop transport, and it works very well. I really like the opening door and all the space you have inside. Great accessibility to the set, so it's a very nice set. It's a very good set. Definitely highly suggest people pick this set up, especially if you enjoyed the Force Awakens. Moving on to Star Wars Rebels, I have 75141 Kanan speeder bike. Not a very desirable set. It's pretty expensive. You only get 3 minifigures, which is just a stormtrooper, a combat driver, and Kanan himself. The speeder bike design is a little bit oversized for the minifigure, not great. And then you have these like just regular Imperial crates, which can be attached to the speeder bike. So it's just another one of those small expensive sets for Star Wars Rebels fans. So not a huge fan of the set. Then we have the 75142 homing spider droid. This is pretty much the identical build to the one we had in 2013, but with just 2 battle droids, a clone trooper, and Yoda. So they kind of just switched up the minifigures. So having the 2013 version, there's no interest towards this set. It's pretty much the same set. So I guess if you really needed a homing spider droid, this might be a good set for you. What they call the expanded universe, we have the 75145 Eclipsed Fighter. Honestly, I'm really not a fan of the design of this set. It's a very, very ugly vehicle. Minifigures included as well. Not very convinced, especially at the price tag of $30 US. So next up we have the 75146 Star Wars Advent Calendar. Compared to most Advent calendars, it wasn't incredible. You did get the Bespin Guard, the Snow Trooper, and the Stormtrooper, and the Snow Chewbacca. And no, this Advent calendar in 2016 had a fair amount of good figures, actually. As always, the builds aren't incredible, and I wouldn't really get this for the price. But there are a few minifigures I would want to get, especially the Protocol Droid and the Bespin Guard, as well as the Snow Chewbacca, because he's he's a pretty cool figure. Then we have, again in the expanded universe, the 75147 Star Scavenger. I don't even want to make comments about this set. There's nothing Star Wars about it, and I really have no interest or anything to say about it. It's just a really, really ugly non-Star Wars vehicle. But I'll let you guys debate on that in the comment section. Then we have the 75148 Encounter on Jakku. Not my favorite set, once again. There's really a lot of other stuff I would rather get. The little shack is cute, however, so if you did enjoy The Force Awakens and if you did enjoy Jakku especially, the shack is a very nice little play set or display piece. You could definitely build up somewhat parts of Jakku. The beast thing, however, is really cool. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I haven't really looked into that, but it looks really, really cool. So, and it looks well built. That definitely would look really nice on a shelf. So, or especially on a display piece. Minifigure Selection, once again, Rey BB-8. I don't know the name of the other 2 figures, but they're not the coolest figures ever. But if you did enjoy The Force Awakens, 75148 is a good set for you, I guess. The one which is a really nice set is the 75149 Resistance X-Wing Fighter. I do have this one. The minifigure selection is decent. Once again, you just get Poe Dameron, a Flame Trooper, and what was his name? Lorsan Tech, I believe. Yeah, and BB-8. This one is the exact same model as the one that was sold in 2015, but it's just been recolored with the blue of the Resistance, so it's no longer just Poe's X-Wing fighter. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, then you have like a tiny little build, which is just 2 crates and a burning part of Jakku. So I believe, yeah, it's Jakku. Yeah, Jakku. So that's all there really is to this set. A very, very, very nice X-Wing fighter. Definitely highly recommend people to get this set if they are fans of the new trilogy. Then in Star Wars Rebels, we have 75150 Vader's TIE Advanced versus A-Wing Starfighter. And honestly, Vader's TIE Advanced, great set. It looks amazing. It's a huge improvement on the ones we had in the past. The Darth Vader minifigure and Grand Moff Tarkin both look amazing. On the Rebel side, however, the A-Wing doesn't look convincing at all. It looks way too cartoonish, a little bit way too fat as well. There's been some newer versions of the A-Wing, especially in 2017, I believe, and that one looked great. But this is an intermediate between the past A-Wing we had and then the newer one we had in 2017, I believe. And it's just way too fat. The green looks cool, but there's too much yellow. It's just too cartoonish. It doesn't look very convincing. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm just personally not a huge fan of this A-Wing. And Sabine Wren and the pilot, once again, I mean, I guess Sabine Wren is cool, but the pilot doesn't look anything special. So kind of expensive just for Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Then, Star Wars Episode 3, we have the 75151 Clone Turbo Tank. A great set. The minifigure selection is decent. You do get some nice minifigures. I would have asked for more minifigures than last battle droids, maybe because they're a bit plain and standard. The ATRT looks amazing. And the turbo tank, it's a great set, but if you compare it to the other sets, to the other turbo tanks, it is very, very small. But if you just want to have a small turbo tank, then it's definitely a great play set. A lot of people who just play with their sets, it's strong. It really opens up pretty much anywhere. The thing is, what I like about this set, and I know it's not a popular opinion, it's that for someone like myself who has a lot of Lego Star Wars, especially when I had this whole Lego room issue, having a small set isn't always bad, because with this one you can easily store it away or put it on a mock or on a display. My main issue as someone who had a Lego room was usually it's hard to store really large sets, and the 2010 Turbo Tank had this issue where you couldn't put it somewhere neatly or nicely because it took up too much space. So that's just a common issue with the Turbo Tank. But yeah, so this Turbo Tank, it's a neat set, and depending on your needs, you can go ahead and get the other ones or this one. Moving on, we have the 75152 Imperial Assault Hover Tank from Star Wars Rogue One. Have this set, love this set. It's small, it's cheap, it has 3 amazing minifigures. Highly recommend it to anybody who liked the movie. That's all I gotta say. And the same could be said for the 75153 ATST Walker. The only thing that's nice about this one is that you can either use it for Rogue One or outside of Rogue One. It's a new and highly improved ATST over the previous models, and it has a great minifigure selection. And on top of that, if you liked Rogue One, then definitely a nice set to get. Moving on, we have the 75154 TIE Striker, once again a Rogue One set. Personally, I was just a huge fan of the Rogue One sets, so I got all of them, and this is probably the weakest one because we don't see it as much in the movie, but it does have a great minifigure selection. And the build itself, I mean, sure, it's another TIE, but it is very nice. It's huge, it takes up a lot of space, that's kind of the issue with this set, but it has amazing solid wings which move up and down, and the cockpit is pretty big. And it's kind of 2 pods connected, very nice set, a lot of space. It is, however, on the more expensive side. Next up is the 75155 Rebel U-Wing Fighter. Once again, this set does not disappoint. There's a lot of details. It's really big. That's the thing with the Rogue One sets. They're really big, so they kind of make up for the price. $80 US was maybe a bit, but then again, we had 5 exclusive minifigures, and we had some of the main characters in the set, so that was nice. And this set appears quite a bit in Rogue One, so there's that with the price. Then we have the 75156 Krennic's Imperial Shuttle. Once again, huge set. It's part of the Rogue One sets. Great minifigure selection. Since I'm just a huge fan, I would definitely recommend all the Rogue One sets to people who enjoyed the movie. Otherwise, they're maybe not the most attractive Star Wars vehicles. Moving on to Star Wars Rebels, once again, we have the 75157 Captain Rex's ATTE. $120 US for this is very expensive. Personally, on a very personal basis, the issue with this set is that I could just take up my ATTE, unbuild the top part, and then just add a bunch of pieces, and it would pretty much look the same. And that's the issue with this set, is that it's very creative and it's very on its own. You know, it's kind of just apart from all the other regular Star Wars sets. But I feel like that's something I could have done on my own, and I don't have to spend another $120 to get a new ATTE. On top of that, the minifigure selection is kind of poor because you do get the older clone troopers, but they don't come with their armor or their helmets, so that's kind of sad. So yeah, it's a very expensive set for what it is. But if you're a Star Wars Rebels fan, once again, maybe this set could be for you. Moving on towards the last sets, we have the 75158 Rebel Combat Frigates. I do have this set. Very much love this set. What I did is I actually completely modified it, changed the entire color scheme of the set so that it would be compatible with the Clone Wars look of this vehicle, because it first appeared for a long time in the Clone Wars, and then it reappeared in Star Wars Rebels. So that's what I did with this set, because I'm a huge fan of the vehicle in the Clone Wars, not too much in Rebels. But other than that, we do get Ahsoka Tano, so that's a really nice plus. But the other minifigures aren't incredible. I mean, Ezra, Kallus, and Chopper, we get those in most sets. And Commander Sato is not the most desirable minifigure, so yeah. Definitely highly suggest people get this set if you are a Star Wars Clone Wars fan. Moving on to the last set, it is the 75159 Death Star, which is part of the Ultimate Collector series, even though it's not really a UCS set. It's more like a just, huge playset, but that's what it's considered as, so I'll keep those for another video. Just checking, and there are two last polybags. The 5004406 First Order General, which he's kind of a bland minifigure. And then we have, from the Star Wars Rebels, the 5004408 Rebel A-Wing Pilot, which he is a cool minifigure, but not the most desirable. And I just want to make a mention of the 617678 Escape the Space Slug promotional set, which is a very nice display piece, obviously if you have the money to get this set, because you can only get it in some sort of exclusivity Comic-Con type of thing, so yeah. So guys, that is it for the year 2016. It's not my favorite year, but there are some good sets, as I mentioned, especially the Rogue One, Rebel Combat Frigate, and then some other sets that I've already talked about. But compared to all these good sets, there's also a lot of bad sets, which I'm really not a fan of, such as the Escape on Jakku or Takodana or all that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of mixed feelings on this year. By no means it's one of the better years, but there are still some good sets in 2016, but I'll let you guys debate on that and give some of your opinion in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time here on the MAGMA channel for another great LEGO video. Bye bye.